Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're all doing well. It's almost the weekend. Super Bowl Sunday is coming up, and go Patriots. All right. Hey, I live in Boston. What can I say? Um, so today I'm going to show you guys just a really quick and easy way to um, independently play your keyboard and the drum pads so that they each trigger their own respective sounds. So the drum pads would trigger, a drum kit, and the keyboard would trigger whatever plugin you choose. Um, for the longest time when I got the MPC Key37, I couldn't figure out how to do it. And I'm like, damn, it's like it's a keyboard and an MPC. There must be, a way to independently play the keyboard so that it's not playing the drum pads all the time. And I couldn't figure out how to separate it. So I did see something online eventually, and it's pretty simple trick or method. It would be great if they had like one button on the console or something, but it's a couple of menu pages away, so it's not too bad. All right. So again, let's go over how to independently play the keyboard from the drum pads. All right, let's get to it. All right, so we're doing this from scratch. I loaded up a drum kit from the MPC expansion Lo-Fi Jazz, which is my favorite expansion. Not that I have a lot, but the sounds are beautiful. So this is the kit. I did a beat the other day. I made a YouTube shorts with it. So very nice sounds. So that's on track 1, and then I'm going to add a new track. So I'm going to press new track right here, and let's select a plugin, and we'll go to sounds. And when you press sounds, it'll open up to all of the plugins that you may have on your MPC. I'm going to go ahead and go to Fabric and select a piano sound from the pianos folder. We'll go with the Studio Grand. It's a nice clean, it's not too bright, not too dull, so it's a nice compromise. Okay, that's good. So go back to main. So that's on track 3. The kit is on track 1. All right, so right now you can see when I select track 3, which is the Studio Grand, you could see the pads are also wired or routed to trigger that plugin. But in a live situation, let's say you may want to be able to play drums or the pads or whatever samples are on the pads with one hand and play the keys on the other hand, separate instruments on each one. And so we need to separate these, right? So if I go back to the drum kit, and it's there, and you can see there's nothing being played on the keyboard. Okay, so how do we get around that? A couple of ways. As always on the MPC, there's always more than one way to do things. I think the easiest thing is to go to the menu, find your icon that says track view, which is right there, or you can hit the shift button and hit track right here under the main button. Okay, that might be easier. And then you get this view, and this is a pretty cool page. It has a lot of information on it, including the individual tracks, if they're muted or if they're soloed. You have panning on there. You have the output. You have the MIDI routing MIDI routing, etc. So this is kind of how you'll see it, right? And then you have a representation of the keyboard here, and it shows where on the keyboard the instrument or sound on that track will be triggered. All right, so you could see that if I select the piano, the whole keyboard is blue. It's a color blue, and so any key I play will get triggered. Now the piano won't use these lower octaves. This is like minus C0, and so it won't really use those. And that's where the drums are. They're down there. Okay. So the trick, here's the trick. So the trick is that both tracks have to be record armed. All right, and that way, the MPC thinks that, okay, they're both record armed, they're both going to be active, and when that's the situation, it keeps the drums on the drum pads and it keeps the plug-in on the keyboard, and there's no crosstalk. Okay, a couple of things you have to do though, but let's get into it. So right now I'm on the track 3, which is my Studio Grand, and you could see that it's record armed already. So if it wasn't, I would just go ahead and either hit the circle here, or you can do it from here. Okay, and now, like I said, I want to be able to do record arm the drum kit as well, which is on track 1. So to do that, all you do is you hit the shift button. Hopefully it's in view. Yep, it is. The shift button, and then you hit that other circle, and now you have the 2 tracks that are armed for recording. Because I touched the drum track last, you could see that that drum track is active. Okay, if I were to touch the piano track last, the piano track is active. So it's really important that whatever order you do the the shift and record arm select, make sure that the drum track is the last one that's activated. Okay, so again, drum track activated, record arm activated on the drum track, and record arm activated on the plugin. And then, lo and behold, you can trigger both. Now, listen to this. What's going on there? So what's happening is that the drum pads are triggering a very, very low octave piano sounds. So there's crosstalk going on. Okay, very bad. We don't want that. So how do we get around that? Well, there's a very easy way. Here in the menu, you have this input column, and you have this box here that says all ports. And this is the MIDI input port. So it's MIDI signal coming in to that particular triggering mechanism, the pads or the keyboard. So for the pads, we want to keep the MIDI input port. We want to select MPC pads. So there it is. And for the keyboard track, we want to activate that and then select all ports, and then you can use your dial if you want, and we could select MPC keyboard. Okay, so that way we're telling it basically, I just want, when I play my drum pads, I just want to hear input from the drum kit. When I play my keyboard, I just want to hear input from the plugin. Okay, so that's what that's doing in essence. So let's go back to that. So now let's try it. Okay, so no, it's not triggering any other sounds. Okay, so I can go ahead and and then if you have samples, like I have some piano chord progressions here, I can play, I can, comp over those. I can trigger with the left hand. All right, so there you go. And then also with this setup, you should be able to record both as well, and there shouldn't be crosstalk. So let's try it. Let's try it out. So they're both record armed, so they're both going to record. So I hit record. It's in standby mode, and then I'll hit play start, and we'll have the metronome count off. Okay, so a lot of mistakes in that beat, but it's working out. So, and then we can go to the arranger and check it out. And here is my piano track. So those are the MIDI notes of the piano. And then, when I was preparing for this video, I noticed that even though I selected the inputs so that each respective triggering mechanism gets just their own input, for some reason the drum track is still getting MIDI notes from the piano, and I couldn't figure that out. So if we could check it out on the grid. There's my drum hits, the sequence that I'm playing, and if I scroll up here, these are MIDI notes, the piano MIDI notes, but on the drum track. Thankfully, there's no instruments loaded up, where these are being triggered. And, I couldn't figure it out. I tried playing with the MIDI channels and the inputs and the ports and all that. I could not figure it out. But right now, it's not an issue. So if any of you know why it's doing that and what I'm missing, please comment the solution in the comments. I'd really appreciate that. And so that's it, So I guess the main thing is to have both tracks record armed, and then have the drum track active so you can trigger from the pads, and then you'll be able to play from the keyboard. Just before we end, another quick way to do it is if we go to the menu, and there's an icon called key ranges here, and this is particularly for it allows you to split the keyboard. So if you have multiple tracks with multiple instruments, you can actually have one octave reserved for one plugin and another octave reserved for another plugin, etc. And then you can have the drums reserved on the end. So you can do everything I explained here as well. Actually, you could see it. You have the piano and the drum kit tracks both activated. There's that red circle, and you might be able to see there's a little white highlight around this hip hop kit icon there. That means that it's active. So if I were to press the plugin here, now the plugin is active, it's highlighted. I go back to this guy, that's highlighted too. Okay, so you can do it from there. And one last thing also, you may have a plugin that uses even the lower octaves, and you might still have issues with it crossing over into the drum tracks. So what you can do is there's a built-in function where it automatically adjusts where the drum kit lives versus where a plugin lives, and all you have to do so you don't have to use these, because these are sliders, right? So you can slide these, and you could select. You could see the blue highlight here. So you could select which keys, which octaves you want those in, right? But there's another trick where you hit the shift button in this page. You hit the shift button and look at the menu down here. You see drum split. So you hit that, and then what it did is it automatically adjusted the plugin right where the drum tracks, track notes finishes. So you see how it's perfectly lined up. So that's a really useful thing. So now, you won't get crosstalk there. So that's it. So I hope that was helpful. If you have any questions or if anything wasn't clear, please let me know in the comments. And if you found this informative, please like and subscribe, and that'll let me know to do more tutorials. I really have fun doing this. I'm kind of paying it forward. I learned all this just reading and watching tutorials, and I've recorded quite a few songs now, and I just want to pay it forward to you guys. So let me know what you think. All right, peace.